Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a slimline card using A World with Octobers. This is a great stamp set that has lots of pumpkins and wheat and awesome sayings and sentiments on it. And it has a coordinating thin cut set. And then I'm also going to use the slimline shaker windows, but I'm just going to use the center die, and I'm not going to make a shaker card. And then the papers I'm using are pumpkin spice and some of the wood grain papers. So I'm going to start out with the light side of shortbread, and I'm just cutting a size to be able to use my MISTI, so roughly 7.5 inches by 5. And I've already loaded all of the pumpkins into my MISTI so that I can stamp them all at once. I'm going to stamp in black ink on the light side of shortbread, and then I'm going to color all these pumpkins in using the tri-blend markers. Okay, so instead of having a white outline around each of my pumpkins, it's going to be that shortbread color, but I'll still get the bright colors using the tri-blend markers. Okay, and then I'm not sure which pumpkins I'm going to use, so I just stamped them all. And then I'm going to bring in that other piece of shortbread, and I'm going to stamp all of the wheat in Sundance ink. So it's not quite tone on tone, but I want to get that wheat color without having to color anything in with my tri-blends. Kind of a shortcut. So we'll get those stamped out. And again, I don't know what I'm going to want to use. I'm just stamping a whole bunch. Okay, so off camera, I'm going to cut everything out using the coordinating thin cuts and color everything in using the tri-blend markers. So they're all ready to go. So now I'm going to cut some of this wood grain paper, and I'm cutting enough to be able to use that die. So I'm figuring out which orientation I want to use. So I want my board, my planks to be going vertically. So I'm cutting my paper accordingly, and roughly 7 3/4 by 2 3/4 is what I need. And I'm going to bring my Big Shot in, and then I'll cut that wood grain paper out. So this die creates kind of a scalloped border, like tiny scallops with stitching. So it's a nice little effect. And that is what I'm going to stamp my sentiment on, and I'm going to build my pile of pumpkins on there. So now I'm going to bring in some of the pumpkin spice papers, and this will be my background. So I'm cutting this at the size of a slimline card, which is 3.5 by 8.5. And now I can start figuring out where I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So my sentiment that I chose is the one that says Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes. And I'm going to stamp that in Harbor on the right side of the card. I love this color, Harbor. It's like a deep, darker version of Peacock, little gray added. It's just really pretty. Okay, so we can start building our card now. This is a slimline card base. And I'm just going to put that piece of pumpkin spice pattern paper down using Tombow. Get that down. And then I want to pop this wood grain piece. So I'm going to use some craft foam. So I'm just eyeballing it and cutting a piece that's just a little bit smaller. And of course, I can't ever cut straight, so I have to fix it. So we'll get that down, and then I'm going to glue it down with the white Tombow glue because this is really sticky and it works great with craft foam. So we'll get that stuck down. And then I'm going to put a block on top of it so it can set up flat. Okay. All right. I'm going to let that set up. And then I'll start building my pile of pumpkins. So I'm going to put things down with Tombow direct to this wood grain paper, and then some I'm going to pop. So I'm going to use both craft foam and the thin foam tape. So I'm just kind of roughly getting an idea, because you have to figure out which pieces are going to go the lowest, have the lowest profile. So you have to put those down first with the Tombow. And then the pieces that you attach with foam tape, you need to leave enough room to be able to tuck some stuff underneath. So this is the process of just building everything. I don't really have a designer idea. I'm just kind of putting things where I like. And so that was my favorite pumpkin. So I like the way that turned out with the coloring. So I want that to be the focus. And then I'll build everything around it. Add in some wheat and more pumpkins. And I don't use it all that I cut out, but I just like to have a lot of variety to choose from, and then I can save whatever's left over. I kind of felt like that one pumpkin that is looking at it from overhead, it looks like a tomato, so I'm not going to use that one. It turned out a little too red when I colored it in, so that's okay. It won't go on this card. So I'm just going to tuck in pieces of wheat around and just build my pile collection of pumpkins. So all of these supplies are currently available in my online store. I will make a list with links in the description below. And then you can do some shopping at the arrow in the upper right corner of your screen, or just go to the description. You'll be able to get to my website and do some shopping. So I'm just tucking everything in and kind of deciding what I like, trying things and changing things. And you can always snip things if they don't fit and get them to tuck in behind. You don't have to use the whole image. So, okay, and then for the last step, just to kind of draw your attention to the sentiment, these are acrylic dots, and they're from Daisy Meadows, which is, the collection is retired, but there's still some leftover dots in my online store. So I'll put a link for those too, because you can still get them. And there's my finished card. So I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. I hope you give this project a try. These pumpkins are so much fun to color in. Festive and great for the season. Thanks for watching.